Hey, in this short video tutorial, I'm going to walk you through the steps to create the cube that you see on your screen right now using the software Autodesk Inventor. This video was filmed using Professional 2020. If you're using a different version, the tools might be slightly different depending on the updates sent out by Autodesk Inventor. First thing you want to do is looking at your home screen. Right here, you have a couple of ways to open up a blank part. You can click on New Part right here, but my favorite way is to go to the word File and click on New. You can click on New here or here. I don't like to move my mouse around, so I'm going to click right there. Now, when we're working in Autodesk Inventor, we have a couple of different measuring systems we can choose to use. You might not see the folder, but I always like to work with the metric. So I'm going to go into the metric folder, and you can see at the top I have 4 different kinds of parts to choose from. I have assemblies I can make, I have drawings I can make, and I have a presentation. We're not that advanced yet, so we're going to choose a part, and I want to choose standard millimeter.ipt. I don't want to choose any of the others. They will be different. I always want to choose this one right here, standard millimeter.ipt, for the work that I'm doing. I have 2 choices. I can do a double click like you just saw, or you can click on the part and then you can move the mouse and click on Create. When you open up that blank part file, it is just a blank screen. We need to get started, but before we get started, I want to give you a quick little tour of some common things you will need to know and where to find it. First thing you're going to want to know is, where do I find the work that I've done? You will find that over onto the left side of your screen in the model. Autodesk Inventor does a really cool job of tracking every single step that you take in creating something in our 3D space. So you're always going to find that in the model on the left. Always on the top side of your screen, you're going to find the buttons and the tools for all of the numerous tools found in Autodesk Inventor. There are so many tools that they organize them into different tabs. Primarily for what I instruct is 3D modeling and sketching. Not a whole lot of other stuff at this stage of the game. We're just hitting the tip of the iceberg. To get started, I always want to click on Start a 2D Sketch. When we're creating 3D models, most of the time we're going to start in a 2D space. 2D, remember, just height and width. 3D is adding in some depth. Once we click on Start a 2D Sketch, Autodesk Inventor is asking, well, what do you want to do next? Where do you want to sketch? Since I haven't started anything yet, I have to choose a plane. I 99.9% of the time choose the XY coordinate plane to get started. When I do that, my screen is going to change, and I have a big old plus sign in the center of my screen. Now what I need to do is tell it what kind of shape I want to make. Notice that my tools changed automatically when I clicked on Start a 2D Sketch. I am going to start to make that square we saw at the beginning. I'm going to start with my rectangle tool. So I'm going to click to start. Now, very rarely when I'm working in Autodesk Inventor am I ever going to click and drag. I'll pretty much just click to start. So here I go. I'm going to click to start. I'm going to find the origin, or the place where the 2 axes intersect, and I'm going to look for a green dot, and I'm going to click to start. I am not holding down my mouse or holding my finger on the trackpad. I just click to start. Now you can see I brought my cursor to the top right coordinate of this coordinate plane or coordinate system, and I am going to now go to my keyboard and I'm going to type numbers. I want this cube to be 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters. What I'm going to do on my keyboard is type in 50. Now I want to get to the next box. So on my keyboard, I'm going to hit the Tab button, and I'm going to type in 50 again, and I'm going to hit Enter on my keyboard. You can see a little bit has happened. My gray lines turn to a thicker black line, and they kind of go off in space. I can't see them all, but when I click on my green finish sketch, it changes the perspective or the angle of my shape. I have now gone from a 2-dimensional view of it to a 3-dimensional view of it. And when we look at a square in a 3-dimensional space, it looks like a parallelogram. I can't see it all yet, so how do I see it? That's where our third really important thing is, and that's off to the right side of our screen. We call this the orientation cube. Notice what happens when I hover on that orientation cube. A little house appears. I'm going to click on that teeny little house, and now I can see my entire parallelogram. Next step, I want to take this two-dimensional square and I want to turn it into a three-dimensional cube. To do that, I'm going to switch tools. I'm going to go to my extrude tool. A little bit of magic happens. It says, hey, the default is 10 millimeters. Is that how far you want to extrude? I really don't. So what I'm going to do on my keyboard, I'm not touching anything on my screen. On my keyboard, all I'm going to do is type in 50. Notice the number by my cursor changed, and it automatically brings it out to 15 millimeters. I want to save that, so I'm going to hit enter. In this new version, it doesn't do anything. I have to click on OK. Now I have a cube. I can't see all of it, so I'll go back to my orientation cube and I'll click on the house. So now I have a plain cube in Autodesk Inventor. Let's add some features. Next thing I'm going to do is that same repetitive process. I'm going to click on Start a 2D Sketch. I'm going to click on the top of my screen, or the top of my shape, I should say. And look at it, changed it back to a two-dimensional view. I want that to be in the center of my screen. So off to the right side, I'm going to click on the pan, the little hand, and I'm going to bring that to the center. Now I want to create another shape. Autodesk Inventor is waiting for me to tell the program what shape I want to make, and I want to make a rectangular shape. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to go back to that origin, look for the green dot, click to start, and I'm going to bring my cursor down into my space. I don't want to go up here. I don't want to go over here. I'm going to go inside that shape I already have. Now I'm going to go back to my keyboard. I'm going to type in 20. I want to get to my next box. I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm going to type in 20 again, and I'm going to hit Enter. Now I'm going to click on that Finish Sketch, and I'm going to go back to my three-dimensional view. Same repetitive process. I'm going to click on Extrude. I'm going to go to my keyboard, type in 20, and click on OK in that window that appears. I'm going to go full screen again so I can see that new little bump. One last step. This is very repetitive at this point. I'm going to click on Start a 2D Sketch. It's waiting for me. It's saying, where do you want to sketch? So I have to tell it, I want to go back to that top surface. It's going to rearrange it on my screen. Now it's waiting. What shape do I want to make? I want a rectangle shape. I'm going to go to the corner. Now this is really important. Look for that green dot. Don't be over here on a yellow dot. Look for the green dot. Click to start. Don't hold your mouse, but drag to the corner. Then on your keyboard, type in 20. Hit the Tab button on your keyboard. Type in 20 again. And then hit Enter on your keyboard. Now it's waiting for me to finish up that sketch. We should only do one shape per sketch. So now I have that one shape. My next step, just like I did the last two times, I made a shape and I'm going to extrude it. This is a slight variation. Now, instead of bringing that shape up, I'm actually going to grab this gold cone. Don't grab the silver dot. Don't grab the line. Grab the gold cone. Click, hold, and drag. This is our first time we're holding and dragging. Bring it down. It's still waiting. Do you want a special number? Yes, I do. I'm going to type in 20. And I'm going to click on OK on my properties box. And now I have my cube with some boxes in, cut out, and added to the top. In our next video, I'm going to show you how to save this cube to your Google Drive when we're on the AWS.